This is the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show, a weekly broadcast that breaks down each Eagles game better than anyone else. The Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show is broadcasting live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken and is heard on both 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and is brought to you by the Great American Pub, Independence Blue Cross, Penn Community Bank, Fogo de Show, and Hand and Stone Spa. We now go live to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
And welcome, everybody. Got a great crowd tonight. Welcome to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. I'm Paul Jolovitz, along with another Paul, Mr. Domowitch. We're here celebrating the Eagles' entree to the NFC Championship game for the third time in the last 8 years. How are you, Domo?
Doing well, Jolly.
Doing well, too, because the Eagles won yesterday. Winning is all that matters. Doesn't matter how you win. Style points don't matter. Championship game, 4 teams left. We thought we'd bring out the big guy to discuss this one. We have a Hall of Famer here tonight. Former coach of the Eagles, former coach of UCLA, also coached a team called the Los Angeles Rams to a Super Bowl championship, the St. Louis Rams, back in 2000. Mr. Dick Vermeil. Dick, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Very fortunate to be alive.
I'm only going to say this once because he didn't want to talk about it. He's humble. Coach Vermeil had back surgery a month ago, and he's here for us and for the fans tonight, and we really thank him for it. Thank you so much, Coach Vermeil. Yeah. Damo.
Yes.
Not a pretty game. I got to admit, and a lot of you are going to disagree with this, I live for games like yesterday. I love pressure. Pressure is a privilege. I wish every game was like that. It's something special about a game like that, although a little bit scary, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game. Hanging on at the end on that last drive, and then they come up with 2 big stops at the end, both involving Jalen Carter. I mean, he was huge yesterday.
Jalen Carter was huge. A few other guys were huge. Coach Vermeil, when you're coaching a game like this, obviously not every game is going to be a Picasso. How do you feel when you win a game, especially a playoff game, and you won plenty of them, and you don't really play perfectly, things are on the table, people are complaining, whining, but you win the game? Is that what you take out of it, the win? Obviously you want to get better for next week. How do you assess yesterday's game?
Well, normally when you win a game like that, first off, they're both playoff teams. They both won playoff games already, so they're a stage better than a normal playoff team. Yep. Normally, when a game goes like it was going, some individual on your team, if you're going to win it, decides to make a couple plays that make a difference, whether it's a defensive tackle, a great wide receiver catches one he shouldn't have caught, or a great tackle in open field, or a great punt return. Some individual player that helps you all season all of a sudden steps up and make a couple big plays. And you were talking about Carter, he's the guy that did it yesterday.
Carter was huge, forced the fumble, big sack at the end. Isaiah Rodgers with a fumble return. Nolan Smith with a big sack. Some guy named Saquon Barkley had a decent game yesterday too, guys, huh?
Yeah, he did, as always. I mean, his numbers in those 2 games against the Rams this year are just, almost 400, more than 400
yards.
Yeah.
But, Coach, when he lined up before the 78-yard run with 4 whatever left to put the Eagles up 2 touchdowns, it looked like he said, "Watch this" to Jalen. They checked out of a play to a play he had recommended. Do you think he knew that was this Babe Ruth's called shot?
I don't know, but it's the basic play that they've run a number of times this year with pulling the linemen and all that kind of stuff and coming across the formation. They're playing the defensive ends today so wide because they want to rush the passer, and they get up inside them. And then there's one block inside. In fact, on the second long run, the big guy couldn't find anyone to block running down in front of him. He's a great runner, no question. Yep. But what's magnified his excellence is that the offensive line.
Yeah.
And
the fact that they've got a quarterback that can
run as well.
I mean, it just affects those front 7 on how they play, where they play.
No question.
I'd like to bring the audience in for this one. I'd like to make a public thank you, and I'm sure you all will too, to our friends, the New York Giants, for letting us sign Saquon Barkley. How many games did they win this year, Damo? 2, 3?
3, I think.
3, yeah.
Oops. Jalen Hurts obviously is a central figure in everything. Your quarterback in the playoffs. Kellen Moore's play calling. I want you to assess both of those. How do you think Jalen played? Only had 128 passing yards, sacked 7 times. Obviously hurt his knee. We'll worry about next week. And then Kellen Moore. Did he put him in the proper situations? The safety, the sacks. How do you see that all shaking out?
Well, I mean, the numbers were terrific. You've got to take into account his running ability, as he showed on that long touchdown run.
Yep.
And Dick and I were talking earlier. The one thing, I mean, he's got one of the highest sack percentages in the league this year, with the best line in the league in front of him, which doesn't compute. It's because he hangs onto the ball a lot. And, it's hard to understand what it kind of goes into that, is how much of it is the play design where they're willing to have him sit back there and take some sacks to get people open down the field, or is it him not seeing the field as quickly as he should? That safety yesterday really, I mean, that concerned me. When you watch the replay, you see Dallas Goedert right there in the middle of the field that he could have, if not completed it to him, at least dumped it and got out. You don't take that sack. And he was just, the rusher was coming right in front of him. He saw him, still couldn't get rid of the ball. So that's the only thing that concerns me about Jalen is those sacks and why he's not getting the ball out quicker.
Coach Vermeil, when you have a quarterback that is slow on the release or doesn't go through his progressions or whatever, and you want to make calls to Torrey Holt, to Isaac Bruce, quick calls, quick slants over the middle, do you alter your play calling for the speed of the release of the quarterback? Because Jalen got the ball off yesterday faster than he had all year, still got sacked 7 times.
Yeah, I have a hard time understanding all that because I'm not in the meeting rooms and I don't go look at the game films anymore like that. But normally when a quarterback is having problems in his progression and the tempo with which he gets rid of the ball is not having a great understanding what that pattern is designed to do. And that sometimes confuses me. You go from week to week and you did this, so you take this out of the playbook and you do new stuff this week. Some people don't handle the new stuff real well.
Yeah.
And some, in the old days, you didn't have that much stuff. Really, it's totally different today. The packages are huge.
Yeah.
And he may not be handling the larger package real well, but 2 years ago, we were talking before we came on the air, I thought 2 years ago he handled the progression of a pattern and the design of it and got it off quickly. And the other thing you got to realize, sometimes we're in a lot of spread when everybody, and sometimes he's the only guy back there. Is there somebody in the pattern he's supposed to go to in trouble? All the coaching is very important within these principles, getting that quarterback to get rid of the ball.
Let me ask you this. Jason Kelce retires. Jason Kelce was making all the line calls. Mm-hmm. That's been put on his shoulders this year. The quarterback's got a lot more responsibility. Could that be a factor here?
Could be. Yeah. I didn't like the quarterback calling that stuff. I wanted the offensive lineman to handle that stuff. And other things. I tried to eliminate as much of confusion to the quarterback prior to the snap as possible, or fewer responsibilities other than recognition. And the other thing you got to realize, guys, he's in the shotgun a lot. Mm-hmm. The first thing he's got to do is catch the ball. Yeah. Remember, we lost the Super Bowl a couple years ago. We didn't catch the ball. So you're looking here. So you're looking here. You're not looking.
Yeah.
Seeing linebackers, the worst he could see a guy if he had a shoe untied over here to the left, for crime's sake. They learn how to use their vision to try to define what's going to happen pre-snap. But when you're in the shotgun, you really eliminate that.
Yeah.
Coach,
so it slows down his reaction.
And his reaction, obviously, is something he gets put on a lot for by fans here, but then they win games, and he gets the tab, a winner. What does winner mean to you? How much did Jalen have to do with it? And is Jalen just a guy that no matter how you play, no matter what happens in the game, he'll find a way, or has he been lucky in some way?
Well, first off, we've got as good a personnel as anybody in the league.
Yep.
And the team is well coached. Yeah, they're well coached, and the whole thing is put together. So they haven't really dumped it all on Jalen, especially this year. They really, he's made plays, and I still think he has no limitation. That's my opinion. And the only limitation can come from confusion and preparation.
You mean without the knee, not cutting the
without
edge,
the knee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen him have the problem he's having right now, hanging on to the ball like that. So I think I'm sure they're continually evaluating it and discussing that, but they haven't come up with the answer. He's, like you said, 38 sacks this year.
Yeah.
He's not throwing the ball that much.
A couple of things. I mean, one very positive is the fact that he's thrown one interception in the last 13 games.
Not bad.
I mean, so he's fixed that. That was a problem last year, and it's and his completion percentage, it's a career high. He's almost completing 70%. You know, he's the improvement has been in those 0 to 10 yard range.
Yeah.
Last year it was like mid 70s. This year it's mid 80s. I mean, so he's made a big jump there. So those are, you add that to the running. I mean, this is still a very good quarterback.
There's 11 quarterbacks
yeah.
in the league with over 100 quarterback efficiency rating.
Yeah.
And he's number 7 with 103 quarterback efficiency rating.
Is Daniels one of them?
Yeah. No, he is number 11. He has 101 quarter. It's amazing for a rookie.
When's the last time, obviously, fast forwarding ahead now, the championship game, Eagles 5.5-point favorites. When's the last time you saw a rookie quarterback, I don't know if I'm going to say this good, but this poised and this ready? A rookie has never started in a Super Bowl, ever. You had a guy, Kurt Warner, who didn't play that much and then got there. But what's the most surprising thing about Jaden Daniels to you, Coach?
His overall ability to handle everything.
Yeah.
There is no weakness. You expect to see it. A tremendous poise, total awareness of what's going on, knows when to get rid of the ball, knows when to run or to scramble and throw. Jaworski said it early in the season. This is the best rookie quarterback I've ever seen. That's what Ron said.
And what's the name of some guy that you coached, I think recruited him to
Herman
Arizona
Edwards.
State?
Yeah, Herman had him. Herman, I think, stays in touch with him every week. Yeah.
His poise is just incredible.
It's him. You mentioned Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner played in the Arena League, okay? He played 16 snaps the year before as a third quarterback in the league, stepped on the league, and the first 6 games he played in the NFL as a starter, no quarterback in the history has equaled those numbers. Some guys just have it, and you're lucky if you have him on your team.
Yeah.
All right, well, another position where some guys just have it, there's every position, obviously, there are better players than others, and we have a kicker who got a big 4-year deal, has been great for 8 years, hasn't been great on the longer stuff this year, missed a couple extra points yesterday, made 3 field goals. Coach, if you were Howie Roseman right now, and Jake Elliott was your kicker coming into a championship game, doesn't figure to be bad weather, obviously won't be bad weather in the Super Bowl if they get there, would you keep Jake? Would you think about changing him? Would you talk to him? How would you handle it?
I'd keep him, definitely. I mean, you can run kickers in and out, and you can't put them under the pressure of a game to kick to see how they're going to do for you. So I actually had that problem going into the Super Bowl because my kicker was injured and couldn't kick real well, and I actually had a veteran kicker in the wings in case pregame warm-up and everything else, he just couldn't handle it. So kickers could drive you crazy, okay? And every kicker I've ever heard of has had a period of time in his career that wasn't going well. How about in Baltimore?
Yeah.
He's
Greatest
Tucker,
kicker of all
the
time.
finest kicker of all time.
Yeah.
And he's
Tucker,
having an off year.
And he's struggling.
It's a little like a golf swing. So, and sometimes you lose that rhythm just a little bit, and then you start trying to correct it, trying to figure out what's wrong with it, and all of a sudden you miss extra points. But there's no way they can't worry about it. But I don't think they have any choice to go with him. Yeah, I don't think you have it.
Were you ever part of a weather game like that, Coach? I mean, you coached for a long time, coached outside in some cold climates. Did you ever see snow like that? Did it affect the game? How do you think it affected yesterday's game?
They were both playing on the same field. And if it was going to affect anybody, it would affect the Rams more out in Southern California weather than it would our team. I thought both teams handled the weather real well and the conditions real well.
Josh Sweat didn't seem to like it too much, Donald.
Getting back to Elliott, I mean, one thing that's exacerbating his problems as far as making it something that can concern you going forward here is that they're struggling in the red zone.
Yeah.
They're 1 for 6 in the red zone in the playoffs. They were 17th this year in the red zone. I mean, they're not a great red zone offense, which is remarkable when you consider that they've got the best running back in the league. But so they've needed him and are going to need him. And,
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, I can't prove this, but over the years, I've always felt the best red zone running teams, offensive teams, run the ball a percentage of a time in the red zone.
Yeah.
Where the whole league is in the shotgun too much.
Yeah.
And even last night's game.
On the goal line. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And take our running back and put him back there and give him a choice, keep the line of scrimmage clean. He'll find a place to run.
All right, I'm going to give you that choice, Coach. Right now, you could have you're coaching again. You're coaching a championship game next week. Both running backs are going to memorize the playbook instantly, so you don't have to worry about that. You want Marshall Faulk or Saquon Barkley?
Oh, my God. Well, the only thing I'll say, Marshall Faulk could line up and start as a corner. Marshall Faulk could line up and play wide receiver. He was so gifted as an athlete. He had no limitation. Now, I don't know Saquon that well to make a statement. Marshall was a totally different kind of runner. And we had a good offensive line in front of him, and he could run the ball, and he proved it, But Barkley is stronger, and he can slide parallel and then get upfield, and he's, like he did yesterday, and he's up there, in there. But no running back in the league has an offensive line in front of him like Saquon does.
All right, Damo, I want to ask Coach Vermeil one question before we go to the break and give you a chance to say something. We were at a funeral, Coach, a couple weeks ago. One of your players, Bubba Berge, who's been a guest on this show many times, was my partner on the post-game show for many years. You did the eulogy at the funeral. Anything you wish to say about number 66?
He's special. I can't even think about it. It bothers me, okay? And I've never seen a guy, he knew he was passing away for over a year.
Yeah.
And I would see him every week, every 2 or 3 weeks, all that time. I have never once heard him complain. All he ever said is how grateful he was for his career, his family, the money he's made. He's going and he's going to leave his family in good shape, being an Eagle, and how the community treated him. Never did he, 2 weeks before he passed, the only thing he said to me, he says, Coach, I want to make it to Christmas.
That's exactly what he said to me. And he made it 45 minutes.
Yeah.
45 minutes past midnight. God rest his soul.
You bet. Whew.
This is the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show right here on 1490 WBCB, 107.3 FM. Damo and I are back with Coach Vermeil right after this. Stay with us.
Since 1991, the Great American Pub in Conshohocken has been offering an authentic and memorable experience for guests looking to dine in or enjoy the bar and nightlife. Located at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, the Great American Pub has all your craft beer selections and some of the best food options anywhere. While you're there trying their buffalo chicken spring rolls or Maryland crab cakes, enjoy your favorite sporting events on their numerous televisions surrounding the bar. Visit them at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken or learn more online at thegreatamericanpub.com.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Hi, this is Merrill Reese, and I'm here to announce that the garage is always open. I'm talking about garage beer. Light beer, like it used to be. How refreshing. I believe my good friend Jason Kelsey even described garage beer as beer-flavored beer. There's a guy who knows beer. Find yours at drinkgaragebeer.com. Remember, the garage is always open.
At the YMCA, finding your why starts by making an impact together, touching lives for the better. It can be the gift of time or treasure, supporting a community through talent without measure. Here, compassion fuels commitment, finding fulfillment through enrichment, serving and improving. What a way to live, and what a gift it is to give. Find your why and get involved today at ymca.org for a better us.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
We now return to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
And welcome back to the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show, live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken. Don't forget, you can watch the show live at WBCBSports.com and YouTube live by searching WBCB Sports. Coach Vermeil is with Damo and myself. Eagles are going to host their 5th NFC title game at the Link. On Sunday, they won their last 2 combined by a score of 69-14, which means nothing. But I thought I'd point that out. Damo, the Eagles are going to have to be maybe without Quinyon Mitchell. Jalen Hurts should play. 5.5-point favorites. Throw it into a hopper. The injuries, we have no idea, right?
No. I mean, we'll find out when they come out on Sunday.
What's your gut of Jalen playing? To me, it's not whether you can play. It's how much of the game plan you can use, how much that person can do. A body stepping out onto the field, to me, does nothing.
No, I feel fairly certain Jalen's going to play on Sunday. The problem is he's not going to be able to run very well and probably won't take a lot of chances that he ordinarily would in a game like this, and that's going to hurt them, because it's going to make it easier for the defense to defend him. And it'll also have a ripple effect on how they defend Saquon, because if they know Jalen can't run, we talked earlier, Dick was talking about the defensive ends playing so wide. Well, maybe we won't see that as much. They're going to probably pack it in a little bit more. So.
What about Quinyon?
Well, the other thing, though, guys, they won't know that he can't run if he can't run till Sunday.
Yeah.
So they have to prepare all week a game plan that he's at his best.
We hear all the time, Coach, about coaches preparing for everything, whether a guy can play or not play. If you're Dan Quinn right now and you don't think Jalen's going to be 100% effective, do you roll the dice and prepare for the other? Do you prepare for both? How do you handle practice this week? You only got a finite amount of time, obviously.
Well, the advantage he has, he's played him twice already. Okay,
Yep.
He beat him once and lost once,
Right.
And so he knows the Eagles, and he's going to know them better than any team he's played all year because he has this now the 3rd time.
And he played with Kenny Pickett the last game, almost the whole game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Quinn is probably the NFL Coach of the Year really this year for a guy, taking a team won 4 games and put him into the championship game.
Yeah.
That's a marvelous job, a wonderful job, and. But I think he'll prepare for him as if he's full speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Quinyon Mitchell, Damo? He went out very early yesterday, hurt his shoulder, one of those AC joint capsules, which I'm not a doctor, my wife's a nurse, can go one way or the other. They went to Isaiah Rodgers, who played okay, but without Nakobe Dean, can't lose too many people in that defense, can you?
No, Detroit proved that yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, Rodgers is a decent corner. The problem that they had yesterday was not so – I mean, it was – losing Mitchell is huge. I mean, he's one of the best young corners in this league.
No question.
They were able to hold on with Rodgers. He gave up a couple of big passes, but his coverage was fine. He just didn't finish the play and gave up a 30-yarder and a 40-yarder. But after he went down late in the game, they were down to Kelly Ringo. And you saw after that Vic Fangio just started blitzing on almost every down after that because he couldn't leave Ringo out there for a veteran quarterback to just pick apart. So,
Coach, in the fourth quarter yesterday, the Eagles blitzed, Damo just said, a much higher percentage of the time than they had really all year. and they got to Stafford, and they forced a couple turnovers when they needed to. I said yesterday in the third quarter, it's about time. This game's going to be decided by people making plays. Jalen Carter made a couple. Obviously, Isaiah Rodgers with a fumble return. Saquon. How big, when you're in a close game, a nerve game, near the end of a tight playoff game, how important is it for people to step up and just simply make plays?
The guys you pay the most better make the plays, or you're paying the wrong guy. Okay, that's it. Yeah, they have to. That's what you have them for. And like I've said earlier, this team is a very, very talented football team, and with some depth. With how about our linebacker? He's an All-Pro, and no one even knew who he was. He made some plays yesterday that the normal football player wouldn't make.
One of the guys they're paying the most didn't play a snap yesterday. Bryce Huff.
Not one.
Nobody's immune to making a mistake. Okay.
How about, well, they got Zach and Saquon, but how about that Jalix Hunt, third-round draft pick? He played pretty well yesterday, huh?
Yes, he did. Yeah. Now, they have no problems personnel when they're all healthy. Believe me, they're as good or better than any team in football.
One thing that concerns me going forward here, they only have 2 games left, but yesterday,
we hope.
With Huff not playing at all, they basically went with 3 edge rushers the entire game, and it worked fine because Jalix Hunt, the rookie, is playing well enough to give them quality snaps. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
If one of those guys go down, then you got to scramble, and maybe they stay healthy for 2 more games. Well, that's what you're hoping for.
They're better prepared to play more snaps this year.
Yeah.
Because last year they used to rotate the defensive linemen before they broke a sweat.
Yeah.
Criminy, you'd see you're paying a multi-million-dollar tackle, 8 plays, now they're goal to go, and and he comes out of the ball game.
Vic
has these guys playing. And they've done a great job.
He's from the Vermeil school, where
he's
we're paying you a lot of money. You're going to go out there and play as many snaps as you need to play.
And they coached him there, and I think he's really helped Nick, and Nick's helped him. So it's been a good blend of 2 coaches.
All right, so 20 minutes before the game Sunday, when Nick gathers the team in the locker room before they go out on the field, let's say Jalen does play, let's say Quinion can play a championship game against the team you split with. They didn't have Jalen the last game. Third time, put everything in the hopper. What do you tell this team? What's your speech? Is it emotional? Is it fiery? Is it fundamental-based? What do you say to this team?
Well, it depends on the personality of the coach. My first approach would be, number one, we got to play smart. If they're going to beat us, make them beat us. We can't turn the ball over. We can't commit a foul, a goofy foul, grab a guy's jersey. You got them stopped on 3rd down. You give them a 1st down, they go on down and score. And you got to take the ball away. You got to play smart. And then the other thing, there's a time to be at your best. Some people have a hard time being their best against the best. I've seen guys that played unbelievable games statistically against a poor football team. And against a real good football team, they were always average. There are guys, hopefully we have them on our roster, they know when they've got to be their best. And I think Carter's going to be this kind of kid.
Carter's, when they didn't double him yesterday, he was a wrecking ball.
Yeah. Even when they doubled him,
there'll be a time. You're right.
People.
When they used to double Reggie White, too.
Yeah.
They slowed him down for about a split second.
Yeah.
Well, Carter's not Reggie White, obviously.
He will be.
You think he's going to be
I
that
think
good?
he will be. I think he's going to be in that category.
The greatest ever?
Well, in my mind, Reggie White's the greatest ever, but this kid has got a lot of Reggie White's explosive quickness and strength, and then when he totally learns how to use his hand as a pass rusher and his power and upper body, he's a dandy.
Do you think it contributed in the 4th quarter, guys? Either one of you can answer this that likes. Do you think Vic blitzed a lot? Obviously, he had a limited number of edge rushers, but when you blitz, they're not going to be able to double everybody. That helps free up Jalen solo, and he made a couple of huge plays. Obviously, the huge sack on 3rd down in the red zone at the end of the game. Do you think Vic was thinking that way at all?
I think Vic was strictly thinking of the fact that I've got my 4th corner out there. I can't leave him exposed against a veteran quarterback that could pick him apart with Nakua and Cup, and that he just had to figure out some way to get in Stafford's face. Yeah. And ironically, the last 2 plays, which won the game when Carter had the sack and then gets in his face to force the last incompletion, was a 4-man rush, so they didn't blitz on those 2 plays.
Coach, how much is – people wonder when you see a coach on the sideline talking, unless you're a lip reader, who knows what he's saying. But you got 2 coordinators. You got a game plan. People talk about game coaching. When things happen, you have to account for this guy's injury, that injury, how you're playing, situations. How important, obviously, is that? And how would you handle injuries during games? Would you pump your team up? How big a part of a game is that? Because you roll all the punches is how you go through life, basically, not just football.
I think all the coaches in the modern era game do a better job than us old timers in coaching the next man up principle. They start coaching that in mini camp, OTAs, training camp, all through the season. It's not unique to one team. Every time you hear a coach talking about injuries and players being interviewed, it's the next man up, and we expect them to play well. And I think that's a good, solid foundation for handling these kind of issues, especially if it's really sincere and they bought in and they trust each other. And I think that's true here.
Coach, the CBA now allows 14 padded practices per year. If you were coaching today and saw that in the CBA, your first reaction would be what?
Well, it's good for the players.
Well, sure.
It's not the best way to develop a team. Today, it used to be easier to develop a discipline with which you play a game on Sunday on the practice field. The tempo, the intensity, and sometimes, especially in training camp and preseason games, the preseason game is fun compared to practice. Today, you can't work them at that way, and it's, again, an advantage for the players. So you're relying on how they are mentally Sunday without totally preparing them for the war during the week.
Let me ask you, Nick's done something different this year with that. Jolly just mentioned the limited number of practices, the padded practices that a coach can have. Previously, he would get them out of the way early because he felt his players would be tired late in the season, and he went easy on them. This year, he's done the exact opposite. He's felt we need to be go out there and be ready late in the season, and so he kept a lot of the padded practices for later in the year, for December. Smart strategy.
I think very good, very sound. Yeah, and I think first off, you learn as a head coach. You start recognizing some of these things I thought were really good, and I've learned in my career working for other people, they just don't work for me here.
Yeah.
So and I think that part of that's Fangio, because he's old school guy. Andy Reid's an old school guy.
Yeah.
His practices, you may only get 14 practices in pads, but they practice. And I've seen them. There's a number. John Harbaugh, those guys, they get after it. And Nick, I think, is gradually moving to a more consistent intensity type work, because I hear the players talking about it. Boy, we had a great practice. We were really flying around the field and all kind of stuff.
You play like you practice, right?
You can't, I taught myself to quit worrying about injuries, because I've seen guys get hurt in pregame warm-up, for crime's sake. It actually really helped me better prepare my team to play.
Next man up, Washington's going to be without Corsi, their offensive lineman. All kinds of problems Sunday for the Commanders. They come in here. We'll talk about their owner when we come back. Why? I think we know why. When the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff returns from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken, give yourself a hand and come back right after this.
Since 1991, the Great American Pub in Conshohocken has been offering an authentic and memorable experience for guests looking to dine in or enjoy the bar and nightlife. Located at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, the Great American Pub has all your craft beer selections and some of the best food options anywhere. While you're there trying their buffalo chicken spring rolls or Maryland crab cakes, enjoy your favorite sporting events on their numerous televisions surrounding the bar. Visit them at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken or learn more online at thegreatamericanpub.com.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
With over 7,200 square feet of 200 brewers in stock at all times, Pat Dion Beverages now features 5 different flavors of their favorite slushy cocktails. You can also purchase all your wine, liquor, and other fine spirits right next door. Visit us on Facebook or online at patdionbeverages.com for upcoming events and samples from your favorite brewery or local food vendor.
WBCB is now on your FM dial at 107.3, serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since 1957. You can now listen to all your WBCB favorites crystal clear on 107.3 FM. A new age for WBCB on a new frequency, 107.3. A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
We now return to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
All righty, back here at the Great American Pub. We'll get back to the Eagles' final segment. A lot of other stuff, Paul and Coach, this weekend. Tonight, Ohio State and Notre Dame for National Championship in college football. A lot of great games over the weekend. The Final Four is obviously set. Damo, Mark Andrews probably isn't feeling too good today. Lamar Jackson, Sean McVay, obviously Dan Campbell. Mark Andrews to me sticks out, though, for this weekend. What do you think?
Yeah, from everything I know, Mark's a really good guy. He's a guy that only had 4 drops this season. He's one of the best tight ends in the league.
2 fumbles in his career.
To have that happen is just, I feel bad for him. I mean,
so do I. But, John Harbaugh is a great leader.
Yeah.
He really is an instinctive leader. He doesn't have to think about what he's going to say, and it comes out right.
Well, how do you handle that, Coach? You got a guy in your locker room that's distraught, got a whole off season to think about it. God knows what his personality is. I don't care who you are; it's got to bother you. How do you say something, not say something?
Well, I think it's an emotional conversation because I know Harbaugh, I know John, I know he cares about his guys, and he will feel bad. Yes, because they lost the game. He'll feel worse because of the situation with the tight end. And he'll relay that to the squad. And, as you learn to coach, you let your team, as you go through the year, know that nobody's immune to a bad play. And it's how you handle that bad play and how the rest of the team respects that bad play. Yeah. Because as soon as you think you're immune, you're the guy that gets beat deep. You're the guy that fumbles. Then you build that into a philosophy. And if anyone could do a good job of that, John Harbaugh could.
All right, as we look around the games this weekend, Kansas City obviously goes to their 348th AFC Championship game in a row. Andy Reid won his 300th game, the 4th NFL coach to do that. Coach, Pat Mahomes seems to get a bit of preferential treatment from the refs. A lot of superstars in sports do. A couple plays on Saturday. Looked like the ref thought something happened. What's it like when you have that guy, and what's it like when you're playing against that guy?
Well, I've had that guy a couple times, and, I think a real quality player. And sometimes you ignore it when he's playing for you, okay?
I wonder why.
But you recognize it distinctively when it's an opponent, okay? And the other thing you got to recognize is, if I know the one you're talking about, from where the referee was.
Wrong angle.
Yeah, wrong angle. And he had to call what he saw.
Yeah.
But he didn't see it right because he had a bad angle. But, the officiating today, they give him so many things to call.
Yeah.
My gosh. When they get no one's a robot. They're all moving, 100 miles an hour out there, and to make snap decisions. The pass interference thing now is getting to me because one time it's not, one time it is. Oh, they're letting them play this week. Well, tell me that before the ball game, But that one's bothering me more because guys are getting away with it more than they should. They really, especially in these playoff games.
At least with the personal fouls, the unnecessary roughness, they need to think about making it a reviewable situation.
Yeah.
so that you don't have this.
Yeah.
You know, now the pass interference, I don't know that they'll ever review those.
They won't.
But
Now the Chuck rule's 5 yards, isn't it? Now you look at these guys going downfield.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things going on.
They let so many things happen, and then they get picayune with things like the only giving a lineman 1 yard downfield before they throw the flag, and
Oh, and the tackle's supposed to be, the helmet's supposed to be in line with the center's, but some of these guys look like a wingback.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All of a sudden they call it after 10 plays,
Lane got called on the one thing for the Eagles and forced him to go for the field goal. Damo, when did you realize that the Lions were in trouble? Everybody goes, well, the Chiefs and the Lions sail through. The other two games, the Eagles should win, then Buffalo we'll see. Saturday night, obviously the Lions lost last year's championship game up 17 at halftime, went 15-2 this year. Jared Goff obviously wasn't having a great game. Dan Campbell, whatever. When did you know the Lions were in trouble?
You mean in the game or the season?
In the game.
Yeah. I mean, second half. I mean, because you could see that they didn't have an answer for Jaden Daniels. Unless they scored enough points, they were going to be in trouble. And that defense had, the attrition from injuries has just had.
I think that you're right there, there, because Jalen stressed the defense, 11 on 11. They stressed every guy.
Yeah.
And there's -6 starters. So you're a grade down of a performer that might have made that play.
And they lost one in the first couple plays
Plays
of the game.
Yeah, when Robertson went down the corner, that was a big blow.
I went into I have a former player of mine that's assistant GM there, so I know what's going on. I talk to him weekly. And every game he's been concerned. I don't know, Coach, how we're holding up on defense. We can't always score 42 and win 42-41. He said, and just being honest.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose. They lost Ben Johnson today, and the coaching carousel probably lose Aaron Glenn, the defense coordinator, later this week. You got to face this Jaden Daniels if you're Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. We all as Eagle fans have to watch that Sunday. Eagles won 26-18, lost 36-33, both one-score games. A lot of stuff to throw in the hopper for Sunday. If you're Vic Fangio and watch Saturday night's game, is it keeping you up a little bit at night once you beat the Rams? How are you feeling if you're Vic, Damo?
Well, I mean, he faced him twice this season, including and got beat by him in week 16. So I mean, he knows what he's facing, and he tried blitzing him a little bit in the last game, and gave up 3 touchdown passes again on blitzes. So they need to they need to blitz him in a very disciplined, not overrun him, don't give him gaps. And just hope they can put pressure on them.
The Vic has done an unbelievable job with 11 guys on the field, strictly disciplined within that scheme and that defensive call on that snap. They're really very seldom make a mistake or out of position. They might get beat physically or someone's better than you and like that, but through the 65 snaps of defense, boy, he's done an unbelievable job. And because they trust him, they trust the call, and they know what they're doing. I don't think it's really complicated. It's like Marion Campbell. I don't think it's real complicated.
They have a heat-seeking missile that goes sideline to sideline, played the entire year, came into his own this year named Nakobe Dean.
Yeah.
Got hurt a couple weeks ago. Really can't replicate that with Oren Burks or with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Mm-hmm. He's a very important person on this defense, Coach.
Yeah.
What do you do with Adam? I mean, you played one game with Adam. Now you got to attack Jaden Daniels, who Dean has spied at times. How does his loss complicate this setup?
You can't pass the burden on to somebody else, but all guys have to make up the slack. All the 10 other guys have to make up the slack if the slack is glaring. And you can't fool your guys. Those guys know that one guy isn't what the other guy was, and because they see the same films the coaches see. And they watch how they played last week, and they see who's making the plays. And God, they compliment each other in the meeting, great play and all. All of a sudden, that guy's not there. And the good teams like we have here, they know that they're a little weaker here right now, and this is what we got to do to help in any way we can.
Tomo, who do you compare Jaden Daniels to? I mean, obviously, as a rookie, his bell curve is so far along. Stylistically, I mean, today the running quarterback is the thing. Brady, Manning, obviously you'll take them anytime, but the running quarterback is the era of the day. Who do you compare Jaden Daniels to and his development?
Well, probably the closest when I look at him would be to Lamar Jackson, just because of the style of quarterbacks they are. Strong arm, so elusive. I mean, Jalen Hurts is an excellent runner, but he's a fullback, essentially. Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels are different. I mean, they can outrun just about anybody. They can get around a corner. Except, I think Jaden Daniels is much further along in his rookie year than Lamar Jackson ever thought about being when he was a rookie.
No question. I've never seen a quarterback like Jackson improve his accuracy in throwing the ball like he has.
Yeah.
Oh, he's over 70% complete. He's the leading quarterback efficiency
11
quarterback
turnovers
in
the
the
whole
league.
year. Yep.
Yeah.
Coach, a lot of people say, and Domo and I will never figure this out, and nobody in this room will ever figure this out, but you coached at the NFL level, obviously won a Super Bowl. A lot of people said it's harder to get to a Super Bowl than to win a Super Bowl. Obviously, you win this game, you go to New Orleans, all the hoopla, blah, blah, blah. The championship game itself, how do you keep people's eye on that prize, keep them from looking a couple weeks ahead? And is that statement correct? It's harder to get to a Super Bowl than it is to win a Super Bowl?
I think, I've never thought of it like that, but I think what you're saying is probably true because you have to win probably 15 games rather than one.
Yep.
Just to get there. And I think it's becoming a bigger advantage to have the number one seed because of the health things, health reasons of your players and all that kind of stuff, but may prove wrong. Tom Coughlin won a Super Bowl with a 9-7 record and went out, so, and it just... and
it used to be where the top two teams got
yes,
buys. Now it's just one.
Just one, yeah. And the Chiefs can use it. And, Andy Reid will take advantage of it. He already has. And the Chiefs aren't what they were. The only thing what they are, though, they're still winning.
They got Andy, they got Mahomes, they got Kelsey, they got Chris Jones.
Yeah.
Not a bad nucleus to start with, Tomo, huh?
Yeah,
No.
and the great thing, I always say this about Andy Reid. He has been running his offense for how many years?
26?
Okay,
they're
26 years.
12
so,
and
all those
14
years. You ever
fellas.
see his play card? Okay. It changes every week, but he's been doing it for 20, and he's eliminated. I don't like this. I really like this. This comes in this spot. This comes in. For so many years, there's nothing you can do on defense that he doesn't have an answer for. And he is the guy that calls it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see this. Boom. All of a sudden, Kelsey's down the hole, in the middle, no one around him. Boom. Why? And he called it.
Where does he rank in your mind as a play schemer?
I think he's number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. There's the Belichick's with defensive guy.
Right.
To me, Shula was offensive guy, but the offenses today are
Different.
so
more
different.
complicated.
No, I think Andy Reid, to me, is the best ever.
Yeah.
And does good commercials, too. You never would have thought that from Big Red.
Bundaruski.
Bumblewski, that's right.
Nuggies.
We'll be back here at the Great American Pub. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Guy, for letting us be here. Final segment with Coach Vermeil after this. Don't miss it.
Since 1991, the Great American Pub in Conshohocken has been offering an authentic and memorable experience for guests looking to dine in or enjoy the bar and nightlife. Located at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, the Great American Pub has all your craft beer selections and some of the best food options anywhere. While you're there trying their buffalo chicken spring rolls or Maryland crab cakes, enjoy your favorite sporting events on their numerous televisions surrounding the bar. Visit them at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken or learn more online at thegreatamericanpub.com.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Hi, this is Merrill Reese, and I'm here to announce that the garage is always open. I'm talking about garage beer. Light beer, like it used to be. How refreshing. I believe my good friend Jason Kelsey even described garage beer as beer-flavored beer. There's a guy who knows beer. Find yours at drinkgaragebeer.com. Remember, the garage is always open.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700. Since 1991, the Great American Pub in Conshohocken has been offering an authentic and memorable experience for guests looking to dine in or enjoy the bar and nightlife. Located at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, the Great American Pub has all your craft beer selections and some of the best food options anywhere. While you're there trying their buffalo chicken spring rolls or Maryland crab cakes, enjoy your favorite sporting events on their numerous televisions surrounding the bar. Visit them at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken or learn more online at thegreatamericanpub.com.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
We now return to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
And just like life, our show is made not just by the great fans who come out here, but by the little fans. Rocco here. Rocco's got to be at 10, 11 years old. Just ask Coach Vermeil a question. You got to love the youth of America, Coach.
It's amazing. It's more so here in Philadelphia. It's amazing. I meet these young people. They weren't alive when I was coaching here, but they know who I am because of their parents or their grandparents, and it's amazing.
It helps you in the Hall of Fame, though, right?
No question. Here, Paul right here is the guy that got me in the Hall of Fame. He got it all started.
Tomo, you're trying to get Eric Allen in. Coach, you got Torrey Holt waiting to get in. We'll find out, I guess, NFL honors.
Jared
night.
Allen, too.
Jared Allen, yep.
Yeah. We'll find out. Thursday before the Super Bowl.
Thursday before the Super Bowl. Tonight we'll find out who the National College champion is. Ohio State and Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame's coach, went to Ohio State. And a coach for Ohio State, coach to the school, Vermeil coached that. Why don't you unravel that for us, Tomo?
Yeah, I'm curious, Dick. I don't know how well how many conversations you've had with Chip Kelly over the years, but head coach at your where you were
UCLA?
head coach at UCLA.
Yeah. I was out there.
Quit there on his own to become an offensive coordinator.
But I think he loves coaching X's and O.
Yeah.
And being a head coach is so distracted sometimes from the meat of what you really enjoy doing. And I think that's why. And then the NIL stuff and the transfer portal, and it's out of hand. It's out of hand.
Yeah, you're glad they didn't have that when you were a college
someone
coach?
told me all the SEC quarterbacks were making more money than Purdy at 49ers this year. Crimey, if you brought a kid home for dinner when you were coaching UCLA, when I was coaching, you were supposed to deduct that from his scholarship check. Right.
Could you coach today with the NILs, Coach?
No. Coaching is developing players through 4 years and seeing them grow and get better, and some will end up being real good, some will never be nothing more than a second stringer, but it'll be a better man, and all these things you coach. And now they're recruiting players off. The smaller colleges are like junior colleges for the advanced teams.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Look at Jaden.
It's out of line, I think.
I mean, Jaden Daniels transferred, Joe Burrow transferred. Everybody's transferring these days. You find a school, if you don't play, you transfer, go somewhere else. Will Howard tonight, transfer from Kansas State.
Yeah.
It's all there. Speaking of transfers, guys, Zach Ertz didn't exactly transfer, but he's with Washington. Josh Harris, the owner, is not popular here with the Sixers, who haven't won a game since 1483. But he is popular in Washington, where he's led a team going nowhere to a championship game. How's that possible, Damo? What kind of reception is Mr. Harris and our Mr. Ertz going to get on Sunday? I'm guessing quite different.
Yeah, Josh Harris, nobody's going to see. He'll be up in the booth.
He'll be on the sideline.
Yeah, the people here,
loyal.
Eagles fans love Zach Ertz.
Oh, yeah, what's not to love?
Exactly. Josh Harris did down there, you were asking about him as an owner. I mean, he did what an owner – the most important thing is the people you hire.
Yeah.
I mean, Leonard Toews had his faults. The best thing he did was hire Dick.
Well, thank you.
And everything changed.
Jimmy Murray was a big factor in that.
How many times did you turn that job down?
Just the one. Well, they talked to me on Monday. I said no, and I took it on Thursday.
But you had no intention of leaving UCLA when they first called. But Josh Harris goes in there, hires a good GM, hires a good head coach, and after that, everything's gravy.
Why did you do that with our basketball team? There's Daryl Morey there.
Didn't Josh Harris bring a top guy, basketball guy in?
He thought he did, but he didn't.
Didn't? Okay.
He brought a guy, Daryl Morey, who's never done a thing, and he's
No,
continued
but
that.
down there, you mean down there
In
or
Washington.
Here? Yeah,
In
he got
Washington.
Magic
Washington,
Johnson.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Pretty good player. Yeah. All right, so this weekend, Jalen Hurts with a knee. We think he'll play. Fast forward to Sunday. The weather should be fine. No weather, no snow. What do the Eagles have to do, Damo, to punch a ticket to New Orleans and have these great fans looking forward to Super Bowl 59?
Well, they need another big game by Saquon like they did the first time, or in December, and no takeaways, no turnovers. They got a +6 turnover differential in the playoffs so far. As Dick knows, you win the turnover battle, you usually win the game.
Yeah.
Coach,
they've got to find a way to slow down Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
They do. Actually, on Saturday night, Coach, Detroit had a 300-yard passer, a 100-yard receiver, a 100-yard rusher. Washington had none of those, but Washington's playing Sunday.
Yeah, but Detroit was -4 in turnovers.
Right, that's the big key, right?
That gave them about an 8% chance to win the ball game.
Yeah.
And people said, well, Goff turned the ball over 5 times against Houston. Why can't you do it again?
Well, Houston didn't play well.
Of course not. That's why there's an exception, not a rule.
Yeah.
Yep. So what do you see Sunday, Coach? Look in that crystal ball and tell us who's going to New Orleans.
I see the whole key is controlling Daniels. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out. Yeah. You got to control him. I think we'll score enough points to win as long as we can control Daniels from making the big plays. We're not a stupid penalty team. So I think there's good structure and good discipline within our organization. By Nick and all the coaches. I think it's just we're going to score enough points to win, but we can't let Daniels beat us on his own individual big plays, and it's going to be tough.
Coach, you're in the Hall of Fame for a lot of reasons. You took a quarterback out of stocking shelves with a great offense and a great offensive line, won a Super Bowl. You have emotion. You have X's and O's. You don't want to get too emotional and get your team over the top. You also don't want to forget X's and O's. What's the balance that you're kind of looking for this week? Not looking ahead, not getting too emotional, doing all the things you want to do, not doing all the things you don't. What's that like for a coach?
I think that's maybe the easiest game you have to prepare for. You don't have to explain to any player, anybody in the organization, and you try to, you overemphasize it really, but they know. You don't have to say a word. They know what they have to do. And I think sometimes I did a little bit in the Super Bowl year and in getting prepared to play Raiders and overwork them. Mm-hmm. You get so concerned about things that you probably it's just another frickin' football game, and you got to play better than you've ever played to win it. And you grind a little more, and you create tensions that you don't need. So you got to be careful of that.
Tom, looking at the crystal ball, what do you see?
Yeah, I mean they need to slow down Jaden Daniels. I think they
McLaurin,
will. I mean,
Robinson.
Vic's been a miracle worker this year. I mean, when you think of how bad that defense was last year, I mean, they've made some personnel changes, but a lot of it's, his scheme and getting those players to believe in it. And so I think they'll keep him under control. I mean, he's going to have a good game because he's a great quarterback. But I think the Eagles will win this.
The other approach they could take if they want to is even more ball control. Keep them off the field.
Yeah, keep the other team's offense off the
Just
field.
keep them off the field.
Yeah.
They can't score when you got the ball.
Right,
Be happy with a 4-yard run.
Yep.
And they had a lot of games early in the season where that was their approach.
Yeah.
That big offensive line and Saquon can do it. Before we go, guys, Super Bowl 59, Coach, who's playing in it?
I would say right now the Chiefs and the Eagles.
I'll go the same thing. Damo?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see it too with Andy.
Everybody, Chiefs and Eagles, okay?
Yeah.
Eagles okay, regardless of who wins the AFC. Regardless, we'll be back here next Monday night.
Buffalo's going to be real tight.
It will be a great game, absolutely. Eagles at 3 o'clock. in case you were in Antarctica yesterday, didn't hear that. We thank everybody who's been here, listened, and came to the Great American Pub. Be here next Monday night again. Had a great show tonight. Chris Sommer produced it. Gus Barber back at the station. Coach Vermeil, thank you so much.
My pleasure, guys. Always good to be with you guys. I have fun. I look forward to it.
Look forward to it. Damo, let's do it again next week.
You betcha.
All right, for Paul Domowitch, Dick Vermeil, Chris Sommer, Gus Barber, and everybody here, I'm Paul Jolovitz for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff, saying good night and go Birds!
You're listening to 1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at 107.3 W297CL Levittown.
There's no